Good morning, car guys and car gals. This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And this is Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And we are Brewing Solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast.
Yes, we
are so stinking crazy excited about the guest that we have in here today. We had the chance to actually, this is one of the very few times that we had the chance to meet somebody. I mean, we're starting to do more of it now, but we had the chance to meet somebody and then have them on the actual show, meet the person and then have them on the show.
It's been the opposite in most of the cases, and sometimes we still haven't even met the people. But to be able to meet somebody, and man, when I got to see her, it was, I'm going to tell you, we're not going to spill the beans.
There was like music.
But I remember seeing her across the room and being like, there's Erikka Tiffani. Right. Oh my God, I have to go say hi. And I ran over really quick. And I probably sounded like a fanboy. Hey, hey, how are you doing? All this stuff. You know, I was just so excited. She probably was like, okay. But at the same time, it was true, and it was on, and I was just trying to honor her. And honestly, she is a superstar and somebody that I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about. Her story has to be amazing. It has to be. I just know, I could tell by the way just the way she holds herself. She definitely has this thing about her. It's like she sticks out. Like when she walked across the room, I was like, there's a superstar right there. I just can tell. And I know it's not from her acting like she's all cocky. It's just, there was an aura, like you could see the energy around her. No, really, it was seriously magical. Like that. So when I saw her, I was excited. And then I remember literally last week, I was telling Lou, I was like, I really want to, have Erikka on the show. Maybe it was a week before. And he was like, oh, I just talked to her. It's happening. I was like, what? It's like, God works in mysterious ways. And I swear, and I'm so glad that he's put our paths together to make this happen. So I'm pumped up about today. So pumped up about today.
We had Solutionaries that are already jumping in here like Demetrius Naylor. We're about to nail this interview with our friend Erikka. We are so pumped up that we have so many incredible car guys and car gals that are jumping on this mission to raise the standard in the industry. But you can join this mission right now and tag a car guy, tag a car girl. And share.
Let's go.
Share. Get this around because there is incredible content that's about to be dropped right here live on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. And you all know the deal. You know the incredible people that are bringing you this message. Our friends over at Dealership Toolkit. I put my own sound effect in there. You like that?
I loved it. No, and they are. Dealership Toolkit is amazing. We also have Think Ag Group, which we absolutely love. They've been our partner since day one. Dealership Toolkit is somebody that we hold close. I love everybody over there. We love the people that we've teamed up with because they're on the same mission as us. It's to make this business better. It's to help people become better, help stores have better processes so that they can help their clients more. Not just their clients, but their employees. When you have a good culture in there, you're going to have good retention. You're going to have people that care. You're going to have clients that come back because you had somebody that's been there for 5 years and they come back to see them. Right. And those things are very important to be able to start things in this business and be able to close things in this business and do it with grace and to be able to make it better. Like my mission since day one is to leave this business better than I came into it. Right. And I cannot wait to see how far it goes. I cannot wait to see what's going down. Right now is the best time I've ever seen this business. People out there are really coming together and really lifting each other up and really trying to make a change. I know that we're being part of it. I'm so excited that we even just have our little corner in this world that we're getting to do our stuff. But to have people like our guests that we're getting ready to show, to me, it's like a highlight of my week. I've been looking forward to this day since we put it on this calendar. I remember Lou said, hey, what's going on the 22nd? And I was like, yes, let's do it. That's I don't care. I'm moving it and we're putting this one in. Right?
Happening. So we are excited. And if you can't tell, we are incredible fans of the quality of beans that we are about to brew with. This individual has already this year had some incredible accomplishments, incredible announcements, and we're trying to do what we can to make sure that the message of who it is that she is can be caffeinated and spread out there. But ultimately, folks, this is not to do anything but to make sure that we inspire you to go be the greatest version of you that you can possibly be. So do us a favor.
Yes.
Jason Grimes, good morning to you too, sir. Do us a favor, everybody. Get your coffee mugs ready. Get your excitement on a level 9 because I know she's going to take it to the 10. And get yourself ready to invite or to welcome our incredible, incredible guest, Miss Erikka Tiffani. What's going on? She's still coming in.
We're so excited to have you.
I love it.
We love you.
Such great energy in the morning. That's how I need to start my mornings. Absolutely.
Hey, let's go.
We'll be your hype man every day.
We'll give you that clip and you can
Absolutely.
just step into the office, hit play.
I would love that. That's going to be my intro music from now on.
That's awesome. Wow, we're so honored to have you here and so blessed to have you here. Thank you for joining us this morning. I know you're a busy person at a busy dealership, and you're giving us some time. And I know time is the most valuable asset on the planet. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely pleasure and honor. Thank you for inviting me. I was so excited when I saw the email came over. I said, absolutely, I'll figure out a way to be there. And then meeting you guys in person, first off, was just incredible. You just were shining over there in the corner. And I'm like, these guys have energy. They have charisma. They have passion. And those are all things that align well with my soul.
Woo!
Oh, wow. Well,
that means so much.
That means a whole lot. Love you right back, my friend. You are amazing, and you definitely exude all those exact same characteristics. Yes. And we that's why we have to have
brewing with you. That's why we gotta have you right in here.
This is going to be a great show. I could tell. You know, you definitely bring a lot of value to this business, to the world, to people, and we definitely want to talk about that. We want to bring that up. But before we do anything, we'd love to get you into our secret club.
Got to do this
Solutionary club, but you have to be able to do the forgive, focus, fly. It's a secret handshake.
That's
that we have to make sure that you understand how to do. Right? It's not really a secret anymore, but at the same time, we do want you to jump in.
This is something you've already applied in your life.
Amen.
To get to where it is,
no doubt about it.
To achieve the things that you've achieved, you've had to apply these 3 F's, and we're just trying to help unveil that these 3 F's are available for us to continue to keep growing. So as you can read, all you car guys and car gals, these are the steps: forgive, focus, and fly. And Erikka's going to do it with us real quick because it is a little bit of a dance. Here we go. So on 3, car guys, car gals, and all you solutionaries out there, let's get ready to wipe off the weight of unforgiveness, focus on where it is that we're going, and fly so we can keep growing. On 3, 1, 2, 3,
forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing. Keep growing.
Keep growing. That's right. That's how you do.
She knows
that's what's going on.
We appreciate you. You are now officially a solutionary. Thank you for joining our club. What? Welcome. It is an amazing club to be part of. We are excited. And you've always been an honorary member, so it's just nice that you got that in there.
I'm official.
You are official now. So, wow. Here we go. We have this 5-liner. We love to ask 5 questions. You know, they're all my favorite questions. I've been saying this a lot lately, but number 1 question. Man, I love to start this way. What is your purpose? What's your drive? What is your why? What gets you up every day to be the best version of yourself?
My why is definitely my family, my children. You know, I think about them every day and I say, my children are watching. That is the inspiration for the decisions I make, for the choices, for the way I live my life, knowing that my children are watching and the legacy that I'd like to leave for them. I had a rough childhood growing up in a sense of the decisions that I made. And I love the forgive, focus, fly, because you have to first start with forgiving yourself, usually before you can start forgiving other people. And, you know, becoming a young mom at 19, I wanted to make sure that I set my children up in a pathway that was different from my own, because even though the challenges that I went through definitely molded me to the person that I am, I said, how much different could my life have been had I made different, choices? And then I said, you know what? Well, the very choices that I made me the person I am today. So I didn't make a mistake, right? This was all in the plan of where I needed to be anyway. And the very person that I am was shaped by every choice and every decision. So I'm very thankful for my kids because they have reminded me daily my why I work hard, why I'm so passionate about people, why I want to plant seeds that I may never even see the fruits of, but knowing that them and their children and their grandchildren will. So my why starts with them. I have my pictures of my family on all my debit and credit cards because every dollar that I spend or every deposit I make is a reminder, again, of the people who I am so passionately giving love for, and a reminder to me just that they are the reason I do what I do.
Wow, that is definitely all kinds of solutions.
She speaks my language. I love that language you're speaking right now.
You don't think that she has anything less than that when hearing her speak, whether it's in Clubhouse, when seeing any of her posts, when seeing any of her content. You don't think that there's anything less than the person that she's showing herself to be right now.
Well, thank you.
And there's a key piece that's inside of that. You started it off with legacy. You kicked it in with legacy. And for those of you that don't know about the brand she even represents right now, of course, there's so many great brands, so many great stories behind them, but there's something that was profound about the Nissan Datsun brand in the past that was put in the forefront, that they called themselves a legacy brand. And she has aligned herself up with not just that brand, but that's how she lined up her verbiage even right now to say that she's about legacy. Enjoying the shade of a tree that you may not, or sitting under a tree's shade that, well, maybe I'm
planting the seeds that you'll never sit under the shade of.
So that's the comment. There it is right there. It doesn't.
CC, she speaks the language, folks.
That's what I'm talking
she's
about.
On it.
She's got my back. Thank you so much. Listen, that's exactly what it is that we should be focused on. The thing that I think held a lot of us up, and I think a lot of our generation, is that we weren't worried about what the next generation saw or what they got. We were almost in competition with them.
Sure.
Trying to keep them down, trying to keep them from growing above us, right? That's dying now because we have people like you that are looking at them saying, everything I do it for you. I feel Brian Adams up in here. But you making sure that every dollar you spend, I never heard anybody say that every dollar that they spend, they're sitting there looking at a picture of their children on their card. Don't you put that in your cup and sip on it, everybody. Consider how profound that is. That's some serious intent too. Wow, that rocked me. I'm about to go get some pictures made on my cards.
That's a great idea. I mean,
I love
fantastic. It. I mean, that's a way to stay motivated. Put things in front of you that make you have that drive. You know, I remember, and not to break off, but real quick, you know, I remember when my very first week on the road, Lou invited me out to go travel, and you know, when you're sitting out front in the middle of summer and the sun's beaming on the front of the dealership, and you're sitting there with dress, you know, a suit tie on and all this stuff, and you're trying to catch ups, and you have to, because now I've told my wife I'm gonna go take a chance here. I'm gonna go travel the country. And my very first sale, every time I saw a car pull and it was hot, I didn't want to pick them. I was like, my first thought was, what would my wife and son say if I said I didn't want to catch this up? What were they like? Why'd you go out and travel? Would they think this was was my son sitting next to me? Would he think I'm working hard, or would he think I'm lazy? You know, and that's something that is very profound, and it really helps you by putting visuals in front of yourself. It's like a vision board, you know, and I absolutely love that you do that.
That's profound. I mean, seriously, that rocked me. I'm ready to really adjust right now. Go take the cards and put them in. One of the cards, I'm pretty sure has to be like my wife looking at me like, you need to be doing this, Lou, right? I feel like I should probably have that. But anyway, so I'm excited that we have some incredible opportunities to grow right now. Seriously, making adjustments going forward on what I'm doing with my finances because of my conversation with Erikka. Erikka, talked about how you're involved inside of a legacy dealership. You have just recently been named to the 40 Under 40 by Automotive News. Congratulations.
Well deserved. So amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you too, because you deserve that. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And so, go ahead.
No, I said, yeah, it's an honor and a blessing. I had just had my daughter back in 2019, and that was a very tough part of a place in my life, because I was sitting here with this newborn, and I had to kind of change a career pivot because I had to take 3 or 4 months off for maternity leave. Most dealerships do not have a maternity plan. So as you know, as a manager, when you're not working, there's nothing. There's no commission, there's no draw, there's nothing. So to take 3 or 4 months off unpaid, to have my daughter, and then to lose my manager position because they couldn't hold my spot as, you know, new car manager while I went on maternity leave. I came back to the industry a little broken, trying to figure out what my plan was. And I'll never forget, I had not even been 6 weeks from having her, and Porsche was doing an event with Automotive News down here in Atlanta. And I was invited. It was a special invite only. And I was like, I gotta be there. And everybody's like, you just had a baby a month ago. And I'm like, I know, but I gotta be there. Special invite. So, you know, I go in there and I'm sitting there, and you know, I'm hurting because I'm nursing, and I'm like, I got to get out of here and feed the baby, and it's a rough day. But I sat and saw the magazine. Everybody got a copy of the magazine, and I wrote on Facebook, and I said, I want to make sure that I am on the cover of this magazine by the time I'm 40.
Wow.
And it's literally on my Facebook page to the day, March 20th, 2019. I said, I may have slowed down, but I haven't stopped. And I look and say, I didn't know then that God would have had a plan to allow me to be in a position to where I could fulfill that manifestation of something that I just wanted to happen. I mean, just think of all, there's 40 people, right? First of all, and then just to be even picked as one of the people on the cover that is under my control, that I've done nothing to earn of my own right. And yet God says, you spoke it into existence and I'm going to deliver, right? If you believe that something that could happen that at that point seemed almost impossible. Didn't have my manager position. I was at a dealership where I had just taken months off. My money wasn't where it needed to be. There to me was no singular path that would say, how do I get there? And then in the middle of a dang pandemic.
Come on.
I'm 38 years old, so I was running out of time. But to be able to see that happen, it's just a reminder of the plan that God has for your life, and to know that he's in control and that he's always making a plan for you, even when sometimes you don't see it.
Wow. That's,
oh my God. I mean, I literally got goosebumps listening to you just talk. You are powerful. How many stages are you been on so far? Because you're
for real. Yes,
I can tell. If you're not on enough, she's not on enough is the answer to that. We need to be out speaking about these things. You are very, very. I could tell that
you got it, girl.
You got it. That's girl. The word. You got it, girl. That's the best way. That's the best way to put it. No, your words are very powerful, and I could tell they're very thought. And you don't just make them up. This has been your process for a very long time. I love that you honor your family the way you do. I love that you do all those things. It's amazing.
She honors. This is something that people, I think, need to really slow down and sip on a little bit. And just like the part where you said, let's slow down. I'm not going to stop, but there's something that's inside of the honor that you have for your own words, and that I believe we all need to have. You understand that there's power inside of that tongue. You can bring death. You can bring life. The word says that he gives his gifts without repentance. That means he's not changing his mind about the gifts that he gave us. When he made us in his image, he gave us the same power, the same authority that he used to say, let there be light. So when that authority gets activated inside of our lives and we honor it properly, we aim that tool of the spoken word appropriately, and then we see things become, because our faith gets attached to that word.
Absolutely.
The same thing happens in the negative. The same thing happens in the side where we can tear down people. And this business has had enough people tearing each other down. We've had enough of tearing down the quote unquote competition. We've had enough of tearing down ourselves and speaking negatively of ourselves. And now this tide is being shifted to where people like you are honoring the words that are coming out of their mouth, whether it's to their spouse, their children, their community, their customer, their clients, their vendors, all the way to the point to where there is a consistency where everybody's starting to now get in cadence together. We're starting to speak the same life and starting to see each other raise up. But there is an honor for your words that I am blown away by even more just sitting here with you, because I know that I can hear it. I can feel it. You understand the power that's inside of that spoken word of yours. And I love that we get the chance to figure out a little bit more about your incredible power, sister. Thank you so much for being in here. Wow.
No, and she honors her Lord or God, and I could tell. And it's a beautiful thing, because that's the first thing you need to honor, right? And and she's doing that through her words, through her actions, and I'm looking forward to seeing the future, because your future is bright. There's no doubt about it.
It is bright. So let's talk about what got you to here now, just a little bit, right? What got you in the automotive industry itself?
There you go. Thank God that you came in. I'll tell you that.
So you got to think it's 2001, 2002. I'm 19 years old. I have my GED, and I can't find work. There was friction at my home with my parents because, I'm a young mom, and they're saying, what are you doing? You need to figure this out, and I'm looking for work, but I have a baby, a newborn that needs care, and daycare is so expensive. And I'm talking about $250 a week for a newborn. And so I decide, you know what? This is where the resiliency comes in. I'll work at the daycare, right? If I'm working at the daycare, then she can come to work with me every day, and I can actually make ends meet. So I can't forget, I was making $6 an hour, and I'm working at the daycare, changing diapers. I'm in the 2- and 3-year-old room, and I have car problems. And when you're making $6 an hour, car problems are devastating. They change your life. And I had to go to a repair shop to get my car fixed. And I'm sitting there and I'm tears in my eyes welling up because no matter what they say, I know it's going to be more expensive. Unless it's $5, it's going to be more expensive than I can fix. And the guy says, hey, it's your alternator. And I jump into marketing mode and said, is there anything I could do to help you guys out? Could I, help you with your marketing or your advertising? And I said, I work at this daycare up the street. I meet a lot of families. I could tell them about your shop. And he starts to think, and he's like, you know what, that might not be a bad idea. So we put up a plan together to make some oil change coupons, and I'm giving them to every single parent at the daycare. And in exchange for this marketing help, he makes sure that I get an alternator. And the relationship of our friendship started right there. And it's amazing that God puts these people in your lives that you don't even know that relationship is going to bear fruit later on in life. And so a couple of years passed, I'm still at the daycare, and the guy leaves the Midas shop and starts his own shop and says, I want you to work at my front desk. And so I become a service writer at a Napa Auto Care shop. It's 3 bays. I'm ordering the parts. I'm talking to the guys in the shop. I'm dealing with the customers, writing up their tickets. I didn't know anything about the car business at all. But here is someone who believed in me, who remembered our relationship from years back, who said, you helped me with those coupons back when I worked at Midas. And now that I want to run my own shop, I'd like to have you come and be at my front desk. From the shop, I ended up going to a buy here, pay here. I ended up getting my dealer license. We would take the cars from the shop, flip them, and then sell them on Craigslist back then. But I knew I needed to know more. So I went to a buy here, pay here. Now I'm thinking I'm a marketing guru. I walk into the buy here, pay here, and I say, listen, I'm going to do your marketing. And they laughed at me. They said, we have an agency that does this, so get out of my face. But if you want to sell cars, you can start tomorrow. And I didn't like that he said no. And I didn't like that he said, you're going to make commission and that's it. You work 10, 11 hours a day. If you want it, great. If not, lady, please move. I said, I'm starting tomorrow. So I left the repair shop. I started full commission, and it was a struggle. Buy here, pay here is no joke. But one thing that I learned really quickly was that I couldn't compete with the guys. I was the only female. I was the only lady salesperson at the time. And all the guys would sit on the lot waiting for that car to turn. And as soon as the blinkers went on, turning left, they were already pounding on those people. And I'm like, I can't compete with this. I'm never going to beat them to the ups. So I grabbed the phone and I said, I've got to figure out this phone. And I used to grab my phone and put my finger on the dial. So I'd hold the phone and have my finger on it so I could be the first one before anybody else to pick the phone up, right?
We know the feeling.
Yes.
You get it, right? And so what I was able to do, though, is I heard myself in these customers when they said, listen, I have bad credit. I've been through some things, I'm scared. I don't want to get up there and waste my time. Every conversation that I had with every person I could relate to. And I said, I understand. I've been where you've been. I know what it feels like. I said, but guess what? Just give us an opportunity. Give us a chance to try to figure out how to make this work for you. Because I understood that transportation is such a huge part of people's lives. We talk about it being the second largest decision, but are we really thinking about what it can do to disrupt someone's entire lifestyle, getting their kids to school, taking getting themselves back and forth to work, going to the grocery store? Transportation is huge. And when that becomes something that someone can't figure out, it's stressful. And all they wanted to do was hear someone on the other line that said, I hear you, I understand, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you. And so these customers started coming in asking for me. So they'd walk right past the guys trying to get the fresh up, saying, I'm here to see Erikka. And they were mad. How is she getting all these? How is she stealing customers? I said, I'm going to figure it out, which then became a way to train. So now I'm training all the salespeople because the owners were like, we want her to teach them how she's good on the phones. And that parlayed into, guess what? Handling the store's entire marketing budget. I was over $100,000 a month, ended up doing all their TV, all their video, all their advertising. I was the face of all the buy here, pay here commercials. And the very thing that I asked for when I walked in that they said, heck no, we have an ad agency, ended up becoming the very thing that I did, regardless of what they said, right? Bring it into fruition, bringing it all the way back around. So that was my buy here, pay here experience. From there, the recession happened. It was terrible. We ended up having to let a lot of people go in the BDC, which was a department that I was running at the time. And I really kind of questioned myself at that time because it was hard for car people. It was a rough time, 08, 09. And I decided to get out of the business for a little while and go work for a guy named Adam Goldfine, who had a radio show where we did consumer advice. And this was a time when everybody was having credit challenges, right? So there's people who never thought about a 14, 15% interest rate and now had to because their credit was shot, their businesses were in disarray. everything was just upside down. So the playing field had leveled, and we needed to be able to speak to a show that could give people advice on how to navigate through those crazy times. Wow. So I did that for about a year and a half, loved helping people with car buying, but I missed retail. I was like, oh, something about being in the store. There's something about making those transactions happen that I missed. So I gave up the 9 to 5 with the weekends off, and I got back in the business, but this time it was at Audi. So I went from buy here, pay here to Audi. So as you can imagine, those are two completely different experiences, right? I'm like, your credit score starts with a 7? Wow, that's insane.
You can buy whatever you want at a good rate. What is going on here?
Did Audi, started a BDC there, was a sales manager, did finance, just had a wonderful career working with Audi, ended up winning some great trips to Budapest one year with Audi of America as one of the top sales managers. And I realized, though, there was not a lot of people that looked like me in this industry. And that even at a Highline store, and even where I felt comfortable, even where I could dress up to the nines, that I'd look around me and say, there's no people that look like me. And it was a very lonely feeling. And it reminded me how important it was going to be to make sure that I was bringing in people just like myself into this industry, because I kind of fell into it, but I wanted to be intentional about bringing others in. So from there, I ended up staying with Audi for 7 years. And back in 2019, I came to Nissan, and now I'm doing volume. So I've kind of got a nice breadth of all the different types of dealer experience, from a volume store to a Highline to the buy here, pay here. And it's really just shaped who I am. It's given me a completely different viewpoint of the automotive industry. And I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you something. We are very fortunate to have you in this industry. And you're right. There's not enough people that look like you out there doing this. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they're just not invited to. It's like, it's almost repelling what this business does to people. But when you get in, we all find that if you find the right home, the right place, it's beautiful. It's art. It's helping people. It's everything a Christian person would want to do. Like when you first think about the car business from outside in, when you hear about the horror stories, you're thinking, man, as a Christian man or a woman, is this something that I want to do? I feel like I'm going to be hurting people instead of helping people. But when you get in and you use your heart, it's different. You can really impact people's lives. You can change it. And like we talked about earlier, not just with your customers, but with your salespeople, your staff, in their families. It keeps moving on. But if you do it right, and having it start with leadership, and I'm so glad you're in a leadership position, and you deserve to be in one, because people like with your type of mentality need to be out there coaching people up on how to be that type of person. And I honor that so much. And we are lucky that you got in the business. We're lucky that you even left, even for that little bit that you did that stint, you still were helping. And you were doing things that were encouraging, but then you realize, I love retail. I know the feeling. Both Lou and I have done that too. We've stepped away and came right back. Was like, I love retail too much.
Like working a car deal.
There's something about shaking someone's hand and literally seeing their lives change, and them being so excited about a purchase. Not just them. Then you see your salesperson excited about moving that unit. You see it just keeps going. The kids that are involved. It's everything.
Domino effect.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and it truly is beautiful, but it doesn't stop there. And we all know that you have to make sure you do your follow-ups and you do all those things. And when a customer comes back with an issue, you try to find a way to make them feel comfortable about that whole situation. And if you do that over and over again, life is great in this business, but it starts at the top with people like you teaching people how to do that. And we're lucky to have you in the business.
I believe the key is empathy.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
We don't have enough empathy, because if we could understand for 2 seconds what it's like to be in that customer's shoes, where sometimes dealers and the dealer principals and management team is so far removed from that. They haven't had to buy a car. They drive demos. They don't understand what it's like to have bad credit. We shoo people out of here and say, oh, get that Vogue out of here. But if you've been to Vogue before and you understand what it's been like, then you try a little harder and you say, get this deal back in here, and y'all going to rehash it. And you start asking, what about this bank? Well, did you send it here? And then you start grilling the customer. I know you can figure out some down payment money. Just get me $1,500 and I can put this together for you. I don't care. You got a gun or a grill or something you can sell. Will you really think that's collateral, right? Like, let me figure out how to make it happen, because I am a solution-driven person, right? I want to figure out a way to solve this problem. It's more to me than just a car deal and a transaction. I know this car has the possibility to change your entire life.
Oh my God,
I had that alternator issue. It changed mine. So if that one little seed was planted in my life 20 years ago that brought me to where I'm at today, how am I influencing with this customer a decision that could change their life that I don't even have to be a part of? But every time I drive on the highway and I see all these little cars going by, I'm like, every single person in there is a life. And every single one of those lives have a story. And this vehicle is just a transportation of them getting to and from their journey and everything that God has in their life. And I help put that together.
Oh my God. Goosebumps. I'm not kidding.
My goodness.
I don't think I've ever had goosebumps on my show. That gave me goosebumps the way you just talked. It poured out of you, but you know how I know that's real? Because you can tell you've said these things before. You feel these things and you know what's going on. You're exactly right. It's the seeds we plant today. We may not harvest the fruit right now, but we will later. And when you do, it's going to be a beautiful fruit that tastes so juicy and perfect, right? But it's about putting the work in now and then having faith that it's going to happen. You have to fertilize, you have to water it, you have to do all these things. So stay on it, keep the mission going, but always choose the right path. Don't ever choose the wrong path, right? If you choose right and you always be honest with integrity, empathy, and love, man, it goes a long, long way.
Tiffani, I want to say Tiffani just because it's last name and I'm so soldier born, but it's that. Listen, there's something that we need to take a grip on inside of this entire story. So far, right? You made sure to make it clear that, okay, well, there's a certain level that I can't compete at, right? Sometimes we have to know our limitations, right? We're so about, hey, no, you can do this, you can do that. Some people are going to be better at other things than you. What you have to learn how to do as a solutionary is adapt, make the shift inside of what you're going to do to be beneficial. You found a way to throw that line out instead of waiting for fish to jump in the boat, as is much of the culture, right? Those that are sitting outside, like, come on in, just jump in my boat.
I don't need no
Here
bait.
we go, right? But instead, you said, you know what? I'm going to come over here. I'm going to draw this bow back, and I'm going to go ahead and catch this fish with this bow. I'm going to go ahead and reach out there, can make a connection with people so that they end up getting yanked right past everybody waiting for them to land right in front of them, right? You did some genius stuff you didn't have mentorship for. You didn't have somebody showing you the way, right? How many different accounts did you handle at $100,000 in advertising before the first one?
Well, I don't mean to cut you off real quick, but she did have somebody show her the way. It was God. You know, she chose that path. That's why she is who she is today. So anyway, I keep going.
Right. Inside of that, as far as people go, right? She stayed solid, understanding that he is a light unto her path.
Amen.
It's one step at a time, right?
Amen.
We may have an understanding that there's so much more in the future that we're able to do, but he guides us one step at a time. He says he is a lamp unto our feet, right? And that is, again, right there at our feet. That one next step is all that you can actually take, right? So many times we want to be so far ahead of ourselves. You said, well, I can't get that up past them. Okay, what's my next step? Is it to sit here and say that I can't do this or that I'm not as good?
It's not fair.
Right. All that other stuff, victimese, right? That stuff has to get off of you, especially if you're going home and you're going to face some people that are depending on you to bring something home to them.
And that's the key, right? It's when you're forced to be ingenuitive because you don't have any other choice. And sometimes we get so comfortable in our lives that we have so many choices and we're cozy and it's comfortable. But when it's in that discomfort, it's in that opportunity where you have to be resourceful because you don't have another option. You know what I mean? My kids may not eat tonight. I've been in a situation where I'm at a gas station getting coins out of my seat to figure out how I'm going to have gas to make it till Friday. You know, I've been in a situation where I'm sitting here looking at my account and saying, all right, I don't even have enough to pull out $20 from the ATM. But if I could, you know what I mean? Like just that part of your life where you have to be resourceful when you're figuring out how you're going to eat and how you're going to take care of someone else. And so you make different choices in that situation because of desperation, right? Because of that hunger inside you. And later, if you forget the hunger, if you forget what it feels like, then you start to get off track. You know, because the roadmap has already been there. God has already put that frequency out there telling you the way. But the noise and the distraction of everything that goes on in our life causes that hunger to kind of get turned down. And we get fat and we get full and we forget where we came from and we forget what it's like to be hungry. And then we forget to empathize. So when the customer says a situation that you should be able to relate to, because God's put you in a situation to say, don't forget, you've been there before, we tune it off. and we brush it off because we no longer understand, because we're eating from the silver spoon now, and we have a good life, and we're driving a nice car, and we no longer have those problems, and we no longer can relate to the very people that we're here to serve.
Wow. Oh, and we forget that those people are sitting here waiting for us to serve them, and they come with incredible hope that we sold them on.
Yes.
We sold them on it.
Yes.
We told them we're going to help them out. We told them we have the best product. We told them we have the best resources. And then we don't honor them when they actually show up and give us their time. I love what you're saying, sister. This is
my God. I just have to say, we have the must needed 3 F's, the forgive, focus, fly. She just dropped 3 F's that you don't want to do is fat, full, and forget. I love that. I absolutely love that you said that, because I was like, did she just do 3 F's? We need to just have you as our third host on the show. You are speaking our language. Seriously. Like,
I love it.
Amazing. You're on it. You're on fire. You really are. And I could tell you're really, you're breathing and you're speaking the truth here, and you're definitely trying to influence other people by your words, and you are. And I'm so excited for you. The 40 under 40 thing, that's amazing, and that's just the beginning. It's actually there's so much more that you're going to have come to you and for others, and that's the biggest thing. It's for others, and I can tell it all starts with like you said, your family, and it starts with people that push you to be more. You talk about having a GED and doing all these things, folks. The statistics say she shouldn't be where she's at today. The statistics say that she should be, living off government assistance. The statistics say all these things, but look what she's doing. She is rising. And I love that. And she's getting above the mist and making sure people see her clearly. And I absolutely love that. And that is our mission. And that's what God's plan is for you. Mm-hmm. And God's plan is so big. None of us even realize how big the plan is for each one of us. Most of us don't fulfill his plan. We need to make sure we do.
Believe it if it was explained to us.
Amen.
We wouldn't even believe it.
No doubt.
Right? That's the thing, is that there's so much that we put ourselves into the posture of expecting that it's going to be and hoping it's going to be, not even understanding that it's even better than what it is that we planned, right? You learned how to deliver the car and deliver the advertising all inside of one big knot that got twisted together. And you went in with one intent: Father, help me to get this account to lead it this way. And he's like, that's cool. I got you. There's a couple lessons you're going to need to learn. Okay. Let's shift it this way. And then you did. And then it got even better from that. Again, his plan is greater than ours.
Amen.
Our minds are not in tune to be able to take on the whole plan. If it did, we would not know what to do with ourselves.
Not at all.
But that's where faith comes in.
Yes.
That's where taking the steps into the unknown come in. And we remove that fear, right? You got to get those fear. This is F City up in here, right? We got to get that fear out of the way, stay focused on where it is that we're going. And of course, you also found a way to, even though you don't agree and some people don't see things the way that you are, you found a way to align with honor of the people that you're around. You didn't get there by way of a swole chest, swole head, thinking that you're anything greater than anybody else. If not anything, you've made sure to let other people find out how great they are as well. And that's something that we honor. And along with honoring that, we have these great people that are in the room before we get to this next question that we just want to honor. Again, Demetrius kicked it off, nailing it. What's up, Demetrius? Good morning to you, sir. And Jason Grimes was up in here too.
Yes, sir.
Jason, a racer, up in here. Appreciate you, Jason. Jay Woolridge. I love Jay.
Jay is amazing. He is definitely somebody that honors people and always uplifts others. Always about others. I love that about Jay.
Every time. Greg Ash, excited about the show coming.
My man.
So pumped.
Be watching out for Data Mines is coming out soon, folks. Next podcast, we'll be producing it. Just be watching out. It's not our show, but we're producing the show. So it's going to be great. There you go. He hit it with a little scratch there. That's right. We're having a good time.
Ooh, yes, Alex, thank you so much. I love it when my Italian brothers show up inside of the
Forget about it.
Conversation.
Forget about it.
My man, Russ. Man,
I love some Russ, man. He's such an amazing soul. Amazing soul.
Had to say something powerful to make him jump up in here and just talk about the powerful words that you're bringing. Thank you so much.
He's sitting here getting goosebumps.
Yes, he is getting them, right? And he's dropping some more of them Fs. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Facebook user, amen to whatever she's saying. Yes, and amen.
That's right.
Ashley Church, thank you so much for joining us.
What's up, Ashley? How are you doing this morning?
We got another Facebook user up in here saying we got to know how to relate to people
we serve.
The people we serve. Oh,
we'll never forget that.
Is that it?
Praise it. That's right. This has been a great morning. We got obviously Russ goosebumps and then faith, first forever. Amen. Another 3 Fs, man. We are dropping some Fs bombs in this mug.
So long as continued on the back.
No doubt about it. So, getting to the next question, we've talked about some amazing stuff. Your why, what got you in this business, and we've talked about a lot of purpose and drive here. Let's talk about people who've helped you along the way. Let's talk about somebody. If it's just one, great. If it's multiple, great. Who's been somebody or people that have helped you get to the next level, shown you the way, shown you the light, gave you faith in the work?
So I'll start with when I worked at the daycare, because it was actually the daycare owners that kind of gave me my first choice. And even though that wasn't in automotive at the time, they were business owners. They were African-American business owners, and they knew I needed help. And again, that bartering started early on. I can't pay for daycare, but if you allow my daughter to go here, I'll come in and I'll show up every day consistently. So that was the Fleetwoods. And from there, when I went to Audi, the general manager at the time, Kevin Finner, was just huge and influential. I think it's so important as leaders that we make sure that we're showing, we're not just telling, right? He had the ability to show me stuff that it wasn't even my job yet. And he was like, Erikka, you need to learn this. You need to watch this. Watch how I order cars. Watch how I build cars. I didn't even know at the time that what he was setting me up for was a future that I didn't even know would exist. Because as at the time, I'm a BDC manager, and I don't need to know how to order cars. I don't need to know, how to put the desk log in every night. And sometimes people will take that as too much work. That's not my job. Why are you asking me to do that? They don't pay me to do that. But I looked at it like it was my college. This is my education. So you're telling me that I get to work and you're going to teach me something that I don't even know how to do, that's going to prepare me for a future that I'm not even ready for yet? Come on. But you have to have the vision to see it, and people who can see you and see the future in you, and to say, you know what, you're part of a future, and I don't even know if I'm going to be in that future with you, but I'm going to set you up the right way. And I'm going to make sure that you have the resources that are going to be needed to make sure you're successful in that time. Adam Goldfine, he was my mentor when I was doing the radio show. He taught me more things about life lessons. I remember when he gave me a raise, and he's like, hey, listen, I'm going to give you a $5,000 a year raise. And I'm just ecstatic. And he's like, and we're going to pay off those student loans you've been talking about. And I was like, student loans, you mean from when I went to college for all of 3 months? Like, absolutely. I said, they rent me off. I only went 3 months and they charged me. He's like, that's okay. He's like, part of being a good person is by honoring your debts and making sure that you take care of the things that are owed to you. Someone owed you something, and you need to make sure you pay that back. So he was like, you're going to pay off the student loans with the raise that I just gave you. And I was like, are you serious? You're going to give me a raise and then tell me how I'm going to spend it? Absolutely. And from then on, he helped me with my financial guidance, because I'm going to tell you something. You get in this industry and you come from nothing and you start making money and you don't know how to do the right thing with that money. It's a disaster waiting to happen, right? Because we're not setting ourselves up to be successful, because we were never taught and trained how to properly handle money in an industry where there's no ceiling for it. So he said, I'm going to make you pay off these student loans. And I remember the day I paid it off, and I brought him the letter from SunTrust, and I said, I paid off every dollar. I said, now I finally get to enjoy my raise. He said, no, you don't. He said, you're going to take that same money and you're going to put it in an account. And he's like, you're going to start a savings account because you need 6 months of income. He was like a father. Like, he was like, you know what I mean? Like, he really,
come on. Yes.
He's like, you're going to get your credit up because one day you're going to need to buy a house. And I'm at an apartment at this time, and I'm 20 something years old. I'm like, I'm never going to buy a house. I want to be fluid. I want to be able to go and, Erikka, get your butt in there. You're going to get you a secured credit card. And he taught me the things of life, things that I would later share with customers, later share with my own employees, because I saw myself in them when they were making the stupid decisions. And I'm like, nope, here's what you need to do. Let me fix this for you. So you had Adam, you had Kevin Finner, you have Scott Middleton, where I'm at now, who kind of kept coming to me and saying, hey, listen, Erikka, you deserve more than the situation you're in right now. And I want to show you that there's more to this industry than you even think where you're at. Because being with one company for so long, for 7 years, I was afraid to move out of there because I felt comfortable. But that's, again, where that comfort comes in. And he says, it's got to be uncomfortable first, and you have to be willing to lose something to gain something. So if you're willing to lose something, and you're willing to step out on faith, and you're willing to believe in someone who trusts us, I know you, you've got to trust me, but believe that there's better and brighter days ahead. So I've had the blessing of having so many just wonderful people in my life who've touched me along the way. And then the women, I wish there were more women. I wish I had more women role model and leaders to look for in the industry, but that's how I found the Carrie Wise. That's how I found Amanda Gordon. That's how I found Patrice Banks. And here I'm in Atlanta, the city, a mecca of African-American influencers. And I couldn't find other African-American women in this industry that I could relate to. And so at these conferences, I would go up and I would meet these ladies, and I would just try to hang on to their coattail, the little bit I could get off of, and just be wowed by their presence and their story. But I said, you know what? I need to be your friend. I need to figure out how I can have a relationship with you. And that's how WOCAN actually started. One relationship I want to talk about specifically was Patrice Banks, because I found her on Instagram. And so I'm on Instagram and she's opening up this shop, an all-female car garage in Philadelphia, where you can get your hair done and your nails done at the shop while you get your oil changed by lady technicians. And she's having the grand opening in Philly. And I'm like, I got to be there. I got to be there. So me and my friend Jasmine, we flew all the way to Philly. We knock on her door and I said, I know you don't know me, but I follow you on Instagram. I am a big fan of you. And we could not miss supporting another Black woman doing this amazing thing in Philadelphia. She said, come in. She said, come on in. And she brought us into her shop. She said, forget the Airbnb. You guys are staying with us tonight, with me tonight. And after her grand opening, the very next day, she was speaking at the White House for a entrepreneur clinic about helping women get into contracts with government contracts at the White House. She said, I'm bringing you with me. She said, I'm bringing you with me. Didn't know her from a can of paint, literally met her on Instagram. And now I'm not only at her grand opening in Philadelphia, but I'm at the White House listening to her speak to women empowerment. And I say, look at the power of intention, though. Had you not stepped out on faith, the small investment of this $250 flight to go support a woman that I don't even know, just to be there and clap for her and her point of shine has lasted into a relationship that now Patrice is one of my closest friends.
Wow, oh my God.
All from just, again, being intentional and being deliberate about the things and decisions we make. You know, that every message, that every handshake, that every business card, you could be finding the missing piece to a puzzle and a whole picture that you don't even know exists.
The level of honor on your words, Erikka, are rocking my heart. I mean, again, we've been goosed up.
I swear, goosebump after goosebump, and I'm not playing.
This is the stuff, wow, that people need to hear. People need to understand that this intentional honor is what unlocks the door for even greater honor. You being deliberate about showing love to somebody that you required nothing of. You didn't know whether she needed your encouragement or not, but I guarantee you there was something that came alive inside of her by having you present, showing your love that unlocked a hope and a belief and an actual, like a ceiling, like this is confirmation. Man. Thank you, Father, for sending me a sister that can come be with me through this. And it unlocked great doors for you, but you did it by way of honor, selfless. That's the thing, selfless honor, sacrificial honor. This is the kind of stuff that makes life move forward. The word says there's no greater love than if a brother lays their life down for another. And that is genderless, okay? Sister, brother, however it is, you laying your life down for a friend, you putting yourself out there to encourage somebody that you're getting uplifted by that doesn't even know that they're impacting your life. That's why we got to keep doing what we're doing. That's why you have to keep doing what you're doing, because we have no idea who it is that we're blessing and that we're upshifting and uplifting. And we don't know that eventually those seeds are going to turn into a fruit, right, that you're going to eat. And she got the chance to have you show up as fruit in her life that blessed her, nourished her, and took her, you know, went to a new level with her. And then you guys created something that's having such an incredible legacy, already getting started. I can't wait to have the whole, oh my goodness, you know, this cafe.
This it reminds me of the saying, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but doesn't mean they're going to drink it. You can't make them drink it. You drank it. And that's the difference. You know, folks, if you guys just listen to what her story is, she's named some people, and I want to name them again. We got Adam Goldfein. Amazing person, helped you figure out your financial stability, taught you, gave you a raise and said, listen, pay off your student loans, do these things. You had Kevin Finner, Scott Middleton, Carrie Wise. Come on, these names, come on. Amanda Gordon, which I absolutely love Amanda Gordon. I got to meet her down in Tampa. And when she was at that mastermind at David Villa's, she like just stuck out like really boom. Much like you, when I saw you, I just saw her and I was like, who is this woman? I need to know her. And then I found out that she was the first Black female owner in the state of Colorado. My heart dropped. I was like, that's for one, that's sad to hear that. But number two, it's amazing to see that this is the lady that did that. Somebody did that, and she broke the barrier, and she does it with grace. She's awesome. Her personality is so, it's there. And I'm
a great story. Just a wonderful woman.
Oh, I want her on the show. I'm working on that. She's very busy getting ready to do a second store and do all these things. I'm so excited for her, but I'm going to get her on the show. And when I do, I can't wait to be able to put her on a pedestal and just talk about how amazing she is, because her story is amazing, much like yours. You know, and these stories are very much needed. People have to understand you don't have to have a college education. You don't have to have a freaking diploma. You just have to get in this business and have drive. You have to drink the water that the people are taking you to. You know, she drank the water with each one of these people. They gave her tips and she was like, you know what, I'm going to use these. She took a little piece of this, a little piece of that. And look, now she is doing the same thing. She is bringing people to the water. She's like,
one of my mentors says, you can't teach hunger. You can only feed it.
Oh my God, I love
it. And
that.
that meant so much to me because when you're hungry, right? What is it? You think of a newborn baby. What do? Their first instinct is to eat, right? That's just a natural thing. And as to survival, we come out wanting to eat. We come out hungry. And in life, we get comfortable and we get overfed and full, and that hunger goes away. But you can't teach someone to be hungry, but you can feed those that are. And that's that passion and that desire. And I think that if we all just become a little bit hungrier and we all remove ourselves from the things that are making us fat and full and understand what that burning in you is when you don't know where your next meal comes from, you know, both figuratively and literally, and then saying, what's next? How do I continue to stay hungry every single day, looking for my next opportunity, knowing that, you know, the people and the resources that continue to feed me, and that as I pour out, that I must pour into other people as well.
Oh my God.
And it's so important that you do that, and you keep that hunger turned up inside of yourself. There's a thing that, I mean, I think a lot of us that do try to uplift people and are givers, sometimes it's very hard for us to receive, right? We find ourselves in a spot where maybe the direction that we're getting, it's a little hard to receive, right? You were told, listen, this is the money you're going to get. This is how you're going to spend it. And you were directed accordingly, right? That's fatherhood, right? That's motherhood. That's that direction of, listen, I'm telling you what's best for you because I actually want what's best for you in spite of what you want for yourself. You take that honor, you then give that to someone else. You don't know if the hand claps that you're bringing are necessarily going to be the upshift and uplift that somebody else needs, but daggone it, you're going to bring it, right? It's coming. And the effort that you put forward to understand, look, there's got to be a level of honor that we keep when we understand that we were trying to figure out how to piece together enough change to buy a meal for our children, and never releasing yourself from the honor that it takes to know where it is that you were. There are many things that you have taken probably on the chin. There's many lessons. I mean, folks, you already hear that she's come through some incredible things, met some amazing people, and has accomplished some great stuff. At this point, she can drop the mic and really be out, but she's just getting primed up. And I'm not just talking about the show. I'm talking about her career. I'm talking about the voice that is Erikka Tiffani. She is just getting stretched. But you've taken some hits on the chin, sis. You definitely. Sure. What would you say? Because there are some incredible people that are going to hear this and be inspired. I'm already inspired by it. And let's take it to the next level. What has been the hardest or the toughest lesson that you've had to learn and adapt to inside of your path so far?
The hardest lesson has been everybody's not going to understand your vision. Everybody's not going to understand, and that you have to be okay with that. There were many times when the future I saw for myself was different than the future someone else saw for me. Mm-hmm. And when you're trying to be in alignment with self and authentic to who you are, you have to make sometimes some very hard decisions that people around you won't understand because they see you in a different light than you see yourself. For good and for bad. But there were times when either I needed to change jobs or change positions, and I wanted myself to go this way. And I say, listen, I want to be a GM. I want to be a GSM. I want to have my own store. And I had people say, well, Erikka, you're so good at internet and you're so good at marketing. And I could have you the marketing director over 15 stores. And I could have you the internet manager over this. And you can make this amount of money. And it's going to be so amazing. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But that's not what I want to do. And even though you don't see me like I see me, and even though you don't see the path that I see and that God has put inside me, because this is a desire of my heart, I know that I have to walk away from this situation because I have to continue down the path. My inner GPS is going somewhere and I can't stop it. And even if that doesn't align with your goals, how do I, with a loyal and humble heart, say, I understand and I appreciate what you've done for me so far, but there's more to this. There's more than even you understand right now. And that by cutting this loss, it's only going to be an opportunity to grow somewhere else before. So the struggles are sometimes, again, when I remember getting this job opportunity where someone brought me in and they flew me out and it was amazing. And he's telling me, I can't wait to bring you on. And he was a dealer principal. And he's like, I'd love to have a African-American GM at my store. And this is going to be amazing. I'm going to give you all the support that you need. And as I'm walking out, I'm waving to some of the staff and he calls me the next day and he's like, hey, I'm not going to be able to bring you on. And I was like, I was like, I already flew out and we talked about the pay plan and we talked about my start date and I don't understand. And he says, well, the guy that would be under you really just doesn't want to work for you. Whoa. And I was like, He doesn't even know me. I was like, he saw me walk through the showroom. And listen, we didn't get into specifics, right? But whether it was gender or whether it was race or whether it was just because I'm 5'5", like, I don't know why you could look at me and decide that I'm not a person that you'd want to work for. But what I also realized is that this was a leader who couldn't believe and stand behind his own people, even after a job interview. So I was like, God, thank you, God, for showing me. Thank you for allowing this person's authentic self to allow me to see that we're not in alignment. And no matter how good I thought this future situation where I was going to get a GM title, I was going to get the thing that I thought I wanted so much. He says, patience, my child, it's not your time yet. The need is not denied. That this is not the right opportunity for you, because if your spirit isn't in the right place, and if their spirit's not in the right place, and if your leadership is not willing to have your back, because I'd still start at that store if he said, man, I don't care what they say. You're the right person. I believe in you, and we'll get him to come along when the time is necessary. But for the leadership to say, well, I don't want to lose him, I don't want to gain you, which would mean lose him, then this is not the right path, right? Because sometimes you have to lose to win.
Amen.
Sometimes you're in traffic and someone's trying to cut you off and they're going fast and you're going fast and you're just trying to get to the exit, and our egos get in the way because you would rather fight him to get it in the exit than just to pull back, slow down a little bit, let him pass you, and then get off at the exit lane that was designed for you. But we'll miss the exit trying to prove to someone that we don't even know. Oh my God. Giving expectations to people on social media who don't even give a dang about us. Right? So again, a hard lesson was just learning that I have to be true to myself, and that when my alignment and my spirit was off, when I saw decisions being made at places where I didn't feel like this was a good fit anymore, where I didn't feel like the leadership was in the same page that I am, that I don't have to change that dealership. I don't have to, figure out how to fix this place. I just have to take myself and go into another environment where I can grow, to go into another environment where I can be myself, and that those environments exist. Because there's other people who are in the same pathway looking for you. So why am I going to try to force you to like me when there's already people looking for me? I just got to find that place, and that's okay. And it's okay to start over, and it's okay to let go, and it's okay to recreate yourself. And that's a hard thing to be at, because when you feel like you want to be great, it's sometimes hard to go back to zero. Right? Because you're like, well, I know all these people and I have all this power at the place I'm at right now, and everybody knows me and I have, tenure here. And if I go somewhere else, then I'm a no one, and I'm not going to have those relationships. And that's okay, because see, like with our children, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I don't buy her 2-year-old clothes. I buy her 3-year-old clothes. And my husband's like, well, why? She's too big. Those clothes are too big. Those shoes are too big. And I say, yeah, but it's the anticipation of growth. Right? I have to see the future. I don't go, well, hey, I don't know if she's going to make it to 3, so I'm not going to buy her those clothes. No, what I say is, in the anticipation for where she's growing, it may be a little bit too big right now, but eventually it'll fit. And sometimes we're in situations in our lives where it's too tight, right? We've overgrown where we should be at, and we're not feeling the uncomfort enough to say, this is stuffy. This doesn't feel right. Yeah, because you've outgrown it. You need to be in a new position that may be too big for you. You may need to be in a new position that challenges you, because the growth and the future possibilities is that you will soon fit in that seat, and it will make sense. Just right now, it's not the time. You haven't been there yet, and that's okay.
Man, wow. Those are.
I have no words.
Have you written a book yet?
I mean,
no.
You really need to start putting this thing on all these thoughts and processes on paper, because what you're talking here is truth, and what you're talking here is amazing. That lesson is something that we all need to go through. We all need to have. We all need to be able to understand. And man, beautiful. Man, you really speak
just right on.
No doubt.
Again, and I'm going to keep going back to this. This is the core of a Solutionaries' actual core values. This is at the core of it, and it's honor. You've honored well. You honor your words. You honor where your heart is. You honor you. If you don't have the proper honor for yourself, it's very easy, folks, to take the cheap way out with a big check.
Yes.
I just want to be clear about that to all of you out there. If you don't have proper honor for yourself, you can take a big check as the cheap way out for what it is that's worth honoring inside of you. And Erikka, you didn't do that. You didn't say, you know what? Let me force you to believe that I'm worth it. No. Why? Why do I have to force you to believe that? Right? If anything, you were graceful enough to take your step back, take your position on you, honor who it is that you were created to be. You're the favorite of the Father, right? You're still Daddy's favorite. And there are many rooms that you can go in that people aren't going to look like you right now to this day, whether it's the female, whether it's the shade, right? People aren't going to look like you. We go, not everybody looks like us, right? Not everybody sounds like us. And most definitely, most people don't dress like us. Right? But there's something that we honor now about ourselves, that we've grown and we've matured to a place of understanding what it is that you're really lining up with. And it's that, you know what? We can have the crown put on us for the sake of putting it on someone else, for the sake of bringing someone else to light. If the opportunities that we have are brought to us in honor, then the best way for us to honor others is to give other opportunities to others. Yes. And our entire show is based around taking incredible people like you, putting the heat on them a little bit, right? Putting this conversation, putting the mic in them, and brewing up what is the best of the best for you. But today it's not done. Tomorrow, there's going to be a different and greater measure of who it is that you are. Yes. And the requirement of what it is you're supposed to put out, right? You said growing into bigger shoes, growing into the bigger outfit, growing into that bigger role. The thing that you already understand is that it is a challenge, right? So many people want to have the rank, but don't want to take the job, the actual work in the job, right? They want the pay, the rank, the title, don't want the work, and understanding that more work is going to come as you get elevated. But the word says, if you give a person, you're going to find out what measure of man you have at the amount of fame they're given. You give them a measure of fame, you're going to find out what kind of person it is that they are. You have continuously shown great honor every level that you've gone to. You give honor to the Father. Yes. You give honor to the people that have opened the door for you. You even give honor to the people that have closed the door on you, and understanding that it's all part of the plan, and that no one can look back and say, she didn't honor well. And if anything, everybody can look at it and say, race didn't stop her. Education didn't stop her.
Right.
Finances didn't stop her. Gender didn't stop her. She didn't stop her. She had every excuse to stop.
No doubt.
And she didn't stop her. And it put her in literally the greatest house of the land, right? She ended up in the White House by way of honor, just showing that honor. So crazy. And it is an incredible story, an incredible testimony to so many people that eventually it's not going to be as rare, Erikka, that you're in the room.
That's what I'm working on.
A bunch of females. You're not going to be, oh, I'm the only one anymore. No, it's going to be like, we up in here. We're all mixed together, right? And it's all going to flow. I can't wait to see that.
I can't. Industry. And she talks about growing into clothes, buying her child 3-year-old clothes for a 2-year-old, I love that. And that whole, when you think about that symbolism of that and what that means, it's big. Like each person, I don't care if you're Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, if you're Erikka Tiffani, you had to get uncomfortable. You had to do something you've never done before.
That's right.
Each one of us, the moment we were born, we had to walk, we had to talk, we had to eat, we had to do all these things that we've never done before, but we do it. We get uncomfortable and we grow and we become those things. Don't stop when you become an adult. Just because you're 18 years old, just because you're a grown person, you have a job, doesn't mean that you stop growing. You don't stop learning. The key to growth and the key to being happy in life is to constantly keep growing. And that's why it's my big mantra. That's why I talk about it. It's the only thing that's helped me stay happy is every single day I'm trying to be 1% better than I was yesterday. Right. I do that to honor a lot of things, and honor is a big part of it. I honor my family, my mother and father, because they taught me and instilled skills inside me and told me to do these things. I honor the people who've taught me how to be more financially free with my money and be right with it and save it. I honor the people who've mentored me in this business, people who've mentored me in sports, and anything that I've ever done. You honor that by doing the right thing that they showed you, by not doing the opposite, doing the right thing. That's right. When you that's how you honor people, and that's how you honor yourself. And you do that with such grace and such amazingness. We've talked about your why today. We've talked about, why you got in this business and the road that you went through during this business and the people and the challenges. And then you talked about the people who've helped you and uplifted you. You had a list. This is what I loved about you. When I asked you, you had a list and you knew them off the top of your head and you gave examples. And that's something because you honor, once again, that word honor keeps coming up. You honor extremely well. We talked about, you know, the hardest lesson you had to learn. I love that. This has been amazing. The last question I have for you tonight, or this morning, I should say, right? This morning, the last question I have is, what has been the greatest reward that you've got from all the stuff that you've done in life, in the automotive business, whatever it is? What has been the greatest reward up to this point?
The greatest reward goes back to my children. So thinking about being, you know, high school dropout, getting my GED, having my children young, there's a lot of times where I felt like I was failing them. And there was a lot of times when I felt like the sacrifices that I was making in the automotive industry, because it was brutal back then. 12-hour days was normal. My buy here, pay here was open 7 days a week. We were open every single day. If you didn't sell a certain amount of cars, you had to be there every single day. And there was times when I was saying that, how do I give to them and give to the work that I need to make them happy? And I questioned whether that time away from them during that time was going to cause an issue later on. But boy, am I proud to say that God has been good. My daughter, that same one that I got into this industry for, she's about to turn 20 years old. She just got back from Taiwan on a language scholarship. She spent 4 months. She's an amazing and incredible artist. She does caricatures. She does oil painting. She sells her art online. She's a straight A student, getting ready to go to Kennesaw State here in Georgia. And just, I look at it and I say, thank you, God, because you allowed her through me to be here. And if I hadn't have made every choice, then I wouldn't have had this amazing human being that God allowed me to be the mother of. Well, what a blessing that I got chosen to be her mom, because she's just such an amazing young person. And then my son, Aaron, who's just turned 14, he was on season 7 of MasterChef Junior. He went all the way to the semifinals. He's an amazing and incredible chef, a gifted, brilliant kid. That when I see him, I'm just like, how did this happen? Like, how did you come from me? And my daughter Joy, who's just 2 years old, but she's, you know, she's making moves even at 2. And I say, thank you, God, for giving me the opportunity and showing me that those sacrifices were not in vain. You know, that time given and time spent, I was still able to raise independent, you know, self-reliant, strong, educated, you know, wise children who through my own struggle saw the things that I went through and have become better because of it, in spite of, right? Those very challenges in spite of, and that now at this place in my life that I'm looking for, you know, some additional freedoms, because all the money does is allow freedom, and the freedom gives the freedom for time. And what does the money mean if you can't spend the time? What does the money mean if you can't say yes to, you know, the things that are important to them? My daughter said she wanted to go to China because she's been speaking Mandarin in high school. And I said, we're going to figure out how to make it happen. If we have to be on a 1-year layaway plan, I'm going to make sure that you get to spend the time that you want in China. And to see that check mark off the box, here it is, me, someone who was, you know, destitute 20 years ago, who I didn't even think I was going to be able to find her milk, can now send her off to China so that she can study abroad and do her language program. You know, my son, who at times I didn't know, there was times when I didn't eat because he needed to eat. And as a parent, you make that sacrifice because they say, Mommy, are you hungry? You want something? You say, no, I'm not hungry. I already ate. But you didn't eat. You need to be hungry so that they can eat, because you're reminded that I'm going to make sure that this won't always be like this. So to see him now take food and prepare food and filet mignon and shrimp and lobster, and to say, wow, look at this human being that I was able to help just have a small part in his life and who he is. So those are the things. It is my children every day. It's back to my why. They're the ones that make me happy. They're the ones that remind me of how important it is. The sacrifices that we make are for them, because it's not about me anymore. You know, my time will have gone, but the memory and the legacy that we could leave with our family and our children, so they can say the stories and say, hey, my mom did, and so can I.
Oh, wow. Mic drop. Like, seriously, your children are so lucky to have you as a mother. You know, I've been around very powerful women, my mother, my wife, just amazing women. And they really, that's, without them, I wouldn't be not even a close to who I am today. Right. And, you know, to see that you're doing those things, and you talk about like when you looked at 20 years ago, you're like, how am I going to do all these things? And then what you did was you had faith that if I put work behind it, it's going to happen. You believed in God. You believed that his power was going to help you get to where you need to be. You believed that there was a path. You knew that there was the right time for the right place. All those things were, these words that you spoke today have just been amazing. You've talked about a lot of things that really touched my heart, gave me goosebumps multiple times. You really have something inside you that people need to hear more. That's why I talked about you writing a book. We even saw somebody comment, say, yeah, I'll read that book. Yeah, right. Sure. So that being said, you know, you definitely are on the right plane. You're definitely on that frequency that we're all trying to be part of this growth, of this change, of this happy. Right. And I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited about where you're going. I'm so glad we became friends even more today. Yes. I look forward to talking and having even more conversations with you, and wondering when you're going to start your podcast. Because if you don't, you're crazy. Because if anything, you should at least
got something to say.
You have a lot
to say. I appreciate you guys' platform. I mean, we talk about how to get more women in the industry and or more women, you know, more minority women in the industry and more women, period. And it's places like this that allow you guys to have a platform to share our stories, where you've been just so kind and so gracious. And without that, that's just one more step in the right direction. So I'm so thankful that you considered me. I'm so thankful for your time. One of my favorite analogies is about coffee. And it talks about how hot water can change things. You know, how you take hot water and you take something hard like a potato and it turns the potato soft. But then you take something that's fragile and delicate like an egg, and that hot water makes it hard. But when you take a coffee bean and you add hot water, it brings the very best of it out, right? All the flavor and the smell and everything that makes coffee what it is only brought out by the hot water. And it's not instantly. It has to steep. You know what I mean? It has to take time. It has to brew, right? And that time of that drip of hot water over time is what allows the very best to be. So coffee is one of my favorite things and favorite analogies. And I'm so glad to be on this Brew and Solutions show with my two favorite new friends, because you guys have just made this an incredible day.
Wow.
You have taken the quality of our brew to the stratosphere. Sister, you are an incredible inspiration to so many people, and you know how to talk that coffee game with us. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. We can go into so many different similes or metaphors about the coffee itself, and that's why our brand is what it is, because we want you to be energized by it. But inside of it all, that heat is going to come. That hot water comes, and it does pull out the good. It does pull out what is properly prepared, right? Because you got to be ground, right? You got to be broke down. You just pour hot water on a bean, right? It ain't gonna do nothing. Nothing's happening. Right? You got to be broke down in order to allow that heat to be applied to you.
100%.
And there is something that just does that. Even when you get that right there, you got it. That tastes good, right? That's good. Put that in your cup, right? But there's something about that word honor that is going to leave this episode with something so valuable in each of your cups that if it starts to cool off, heat that sucker back up. Because honor is, I've heard it defined as being a way that you can love somebody for who it is that they are, not being tripped up by who it is that they're not. And although we run into people that don't honor us properly, we have to honor ourselves properly.
That's right.
And then still look back at them and say, well, I honor the you that you may not have even met yet. And hope that we see this industry go from where it is that it is now, where we can look at a magazine, we can look at an ad cover, and we can already tell how 90% of the faces are going to look, their profile, all that cool stuff, right? But eventually we're going to sit back. We're going to have a follow-up to this conversation, and we're going to say, look at this magazine now. Look at this event that's happening now. And it might be our children that are the ones of the faces that fill those events,
Amen.
Right? And it may be the ones that we're inspiring even right now to take a chance on themselves, bring high quality standards to this industry, and see high quality results come out. Amen. And ultimately, it brings incredible people that are on the cover of Automotive News as 40 under 40, incredible people doing incredible things, not because she wants the recognition, but because she understands that her going through the door opens the door for so many others.
Thank you. Wow. And
so thankful.
Thank you, Erikka, for being who you are. Thank you for being the light in a place that it's really dark. Thank you for being somebody that is showing other young women of color that it's okay and we can do this, and we're going to rise up, and we're the best at what we do.
Come on.
So I appreciate you. I honor you. I look forward to talking some more. I'm so glad that we've become friends even more today. I'm so glad I heard your story, because it was even deeper than I thought. And those words that you spoke today gave me goosebumps. That's one of the words I've never said that on the show, goosebumps. And I'm going to keep saying it about you, because you gave me goosebumps. And oh man, I feel so good. I'm so excited about my day. I can't wait to go out and just get my guys pumped up at work and my gals at work, just get them all excited about today, about the future of this business. And thank you for being you. Go out and crush your day. Yes. We love you. Thank you for being here with us, giving us your time. Folks, if you guys want to learn more about her, you guys go to LinkedIn, check her profile out. This is the profile right here. She also has an email address. If you guys want to check it out, send her a quick message if you want. If you have a question, if you're somebody in this business or somebody wants to get in this business and you just want to get a little bit of love from somebody or get an idea of how she did it, because she 20 years, folks. Think about that. How much time and how much experience, and being a lady of color going through this business. Definitely, she has some stories and she has some triumphs, and she also has some stuff that you probably need to hear and know that's going to happen. But what she can do is show you that by putting the work in, look how far you can go. Right. By putting the work in, and she's 20 years in, and I believe we're both about 20 years in too. We're looking at it's just the beginning for us. Right. We're just starting in this, and we're at the right time at the right place. I honor you and I love you. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you, guys.
We are so honored to have had this incredible guest inside of the cafe today. So you all know what it is that you need to do. You need to go make your world glow with the light that is you. You are the light to the world, everybody. You have a connection to the God that created the universe.
Amen.
So act like it. We have incredible people like Erikka Tiffani that's been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. And it's because she wants to bring something better to this industry, to this world, to her communities, and to her relationships. So you go do the same. Let her inspire you to go do great things. I am Lou Ramirez, the Car Guy.
And I'm Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And you have been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast with the one, the only, Erikka Tiffani! And you already know that she is 100% car CGC approved. Woo! Yeah. Thank you so much for being in here. Thank you so much for loving on us today. You are so valued inside of this cafe. Go light up that world. Nissan.
Yes.
Are going out today. This is behind that
record day happening right now.
Let's go. Brew it up. We love you. We appreciate you. Can't wait to get more of that Wokan crew up in here. Wokan, let's go. Let's do this. Love you all. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Lou Ramirez.